What's up YouTube? Welcome back to my Sonic 3 Air with Playable Shadow mod Let's Play. Today we will be tackling Carnival Night Zone. I also have enabled a very special mod today. Let's go. Tails just dropping us off. If you recall, Tails helped us in the last boss fight. Thanks buddy. As you just saw, his sprite disappears once he goes off screen. Maybe he will appear again in this LP later. Can you tell what series these sound effects are from? I am using a mod that adds Vegeta sound effects to Sonic 3 Air. This is from a mod called Vegeta in Sonic 3 Air by A.I.R. I think Vegeta sounds effects go perfectly with Shadow, don't you agree? This boss also made several other of these Dragon Ball character in Sonic 3 Air mods, presumably because modding Sonic 3 Air is so streamlined and easy. A.I.R. has made a Goku mod, a Goku Black mod, a Vegeta mod, a SSJ4 Gogeta GT mod, and a GT Kid Goku mod. Check him out on Game Banana. Dragon Ball and Sonic go together so well. I really wish Sega and Bandai Namco, who owns DBZ video game rights, would do a collab. It will probably never happen because Bandai Namco would charge a ridiculous price for the inclusion of any Dragon Ball character LOL. Dragon Ball is just that. Influential, it simply makes too much money. Putting Goku's face on a product will make that product generate more revenue than you or I will ever make in our entire lives combined. Goku is responsible the GDP of developing countries. Did you know the government of Japan helped to fund the development of the Dragon Ball Super Resurrection of F movie? Just because it was a guaranteed money printer. The Sonic franchise has a bit of Dragon Ball in its DNA. People say Sonic is like Goku, and Shadow is like Vegeta, and Silver is like Trunks. But let's make one thing clear, Shadow the Hedgehog is way better than Vegeta. Shadow takes everything cool from Vegeta while also having his own personality. If you don't know anything about Vegeta and haven't watched DBZ, he'll give you the lowdown. First, both of these characters have a tragic backstory. Vegeta is the prince of the Saiyan race, and his father, King Vegeta, was killed by the evil and ruthless Frieza, and then his entire home planet got blown up. Shadow also had a lethal force, being G.U.N troopers, bust into his home on the space colony Ark and killed his only friend Maria. These tragic backstories play a big role into making them super cool BTW. I love tragedy in literature, my favorite being Antigone by the Greek playwright Sophocles. But anyway, the big thing makes Vegeta a total loser is that he is just a terrible person. In his first appearance in the Saiyan saga, he just wants to destroy all life on Earth so he can sell the planet for money. He kills a bunch of people too. What a jerk. Goku beats him to near death, since that was the only way to keep Earth safe from this madman. Goku spares him, and Vegeta gets away in a little spaceship. Even after being spared, Vegeta still is being a jerk and saying things like, "I hate you Goku, you're an idiot for sparing me. I'm gonna come back to Earth and kill you." From this point forward, Vegeta gets what he freaking deserves for the rest of the entire series. Vegeta is basically a joke character now. In every fight ever, Vegeta loses. And he doesn't just lose, he loses bad. In every fight he acts like he's hot stuff but gets beaten effortlessly every single time. Most fights he ends up giving his energy to Goku so Goku can power up and actually win the fight and resolve the plot. And let's not forget, in the last DBZ saga, they introduced a bad guy that can give you increased strength as long as you pledge your body and mind to him. At this point in the series, Vegeta has pretty much given up his life as a warrior and has a wife, a kid on Earth. But he gives in and gets possessed by the bad guy just because he wants more power so he can finally defeat Goku because he is so butthurt he lost. And to test this power out he kills an entire stadium full of people. Are you kidding me, bro? So now Goku has to beat his ass again, which he does. But at this point Goku is already 3 times as strong as him and he gets freaking owned. In Dragon Ball Super, Vegeta is a lot more chill and just hangs out. One time he beats Goku in a sparring match and brags about it for months. Bro just won't let it go. All in all, Vegeta is an insecure loser and you should not look up to him at all. Who you should be looking up to is Shadow. Shadow is just as edgy, just as cool, and just as badass without being a loser or a jerk about it. Shadow is genuinely a good person. His tragic backstory had him doing some messed up stuff in the past, but the trauma he has to live with scared him. How would you feel if your best friend died and some mad scientist made thousands of android clones of you? Oh, also you got an evil alien's blood in you and his alien has contacted you on multiple occasions asking you to commit horrific atrocities. Dude had a rough past, but what Shadow truly wants is to help people and he isn't going to let the trauma from his past hold him back. Respect. This mini-boss is unique because it is invincible. You have to hit it to open it up and the spinning top has to hit it to do damage. If the spinning top destroys all the ground below you lose. Be careful. Don't hit the boss while it's electrified or you will take damage. Watch closely now, I'm gonna show you something cool. Those little symbols I circled are zone icons that represent each zone in the game. The original Sonic 3 only had one, which was a little palm tree for the first zone. The one I circled was a balloon to represent Carnival Night Zone. With a mod I have installed called Sonic 3 Complete Unique Title Card Zone Icons, each zone has a different icon. These sprites were not actually made for Sonic 3 Air, they were made for a ROM hack of Sonic 3 and Knuckles called Sonic 3 Complete which predates Sonic 3 Air. For a time, it was the quote-unquote best way to play Sonic 3 since it had all the bells and whistles that longtime fans could enjoy. However, it was just a ROM hack so it did not feature widescreen support and 60 FPS support like Sonic 3 Air does. Regardless, Sonic 3 Complete is still very close in the hearts of many Sonic 3 fans. For the rest of this LP, try to keep an eye out for the unique symbols at the beginning of each zone. I've been ranting a little too hard about DBZ and I haven't talked much about the gimmicks found in this zone. Every 2D Sonic game has 2, sometimes 3, acts of a zone with its own visuals, music, and gameplay gimmicks. Carnival Night has lots of bumpers and is pretty much the trademark casino zone of this game. Sonic 2 had a casino zone and it just clicked so well with the aesthetics and vibes Sonic games have that now it's an unwritten rule that every Sonic game must have a casino zone included. On the topic of zones, let me tell you about a very common controversy among Sonic fans. The repeated inclusion of the very first zone from the very first Sonic game, Green Hill Zone, over and over and over. A lot of stories start in a very friendly, homey, and chill environment. It's just the basics of the hero's journey. But some fans complain that Green Hill Zone has been copy and pasted way too many times across the series and it's getting stale. In its defense, Green Hill Zone is a pretty perfect first zone. But perfection can get boring if you overuse it. Or perhaps the perfection gets tired of you. Here is Knuckles' most devious troll in the entire series. Bro turned the lights off. That's it. In my opinion, the greatest practical jokes are the ones that make zero sense. But Knuckles is over there laughing his butt off, so to him the troll was perfectly without a hitch. Who cares if it doesn't actually affect you? Knuckles is over there living his best life, while leaving you confused and dazed over the fact nothing even happened. If you rely on logic too much, the enemy can easily blindside you by doing something that seemingly has no meaning, leaving you bewildered and confused. I'd like to talk more about the Green Hill Zone overuse controversy. In Sonic Mania, in the Plus DLC, they added an Encore mode which changes the color palette of the stages to give higher replay value. I was really hoping they would address the Green Hill Zone overuse issue by bringing back Mecha Green Hill Zone from the Sega Game Gear game Sonic Chaos. Unfortunately, this is not what happened. Mecha Green Hill Zone is just Green Hill Zone, but Eggman has turned the place from a beautiful sanctuary of nature to a cold haven of refined metal and machinery. Have you ever thought about what it is Eggman really wants? Why are we even here? To stop Eggman, of course. To stop him from doing what exactly? Why, we are stopping him from taking over the planet, of course. But have you ever thought about what happens if he were to gain power? Mecha Green Hill Zone will happen. He will turn the entire planet Mobius into what we would call a mechanized planet. Basically almost every square inch of the surface of the planet would be industrialized for efficiency and growth. We can see a glimpse of this in Frank Herbert's Dune novel, On the Planet of House Harkonnen, Jitty Prime. GT Prime is also a planet that has been overtaken by industrialization and machine precision, completely foregoing the beauty and tribulations brought forth by nature. In Dune, this state is maintained by a brutal peacekeeping force. In Sonic, this is maintained by Robotnik's robots who are at his whim at all times. Both effectively spell the end of freedom in favor of efficiency and perceived perfection. If you are interested in this topic, check out this YouTube channel called Runny. This dude makes videos about the awesome IDW comics, and in The Philosophy of IDW Sonic, he talks about these concepts of freedom and such. It's super awesome video, and he has other awesome vids as well. Got the lights turned back on. Thank goodness. Later in the game we will also encounter a level where the lights get turned off, and that time it will actually be scary. Many children have gotten nightmares in that level. OMG barrels. Yes, this is the notorious barrel of Sonic 3 that has blocked many players from completing the game. There is no other path around this barrel in this level. Other barrels in this level can be manipulated by jumping on them, but this one doesn't quite want to budge. What do we do? Just use the up and down buttons to move it. You can get past this part without doing that, but you have to be frame perfect. Let's just go Super Shadow and finish this stage off, shall we? Knuckles again doing a whole lot of nothing. I imagine Eggman must be friggin' coping right about now seeing Super Shadow. Shadow is basically invincible here, like we said before. His only weakness is drowning and being crushed to death. Imagine you spend hours building his big robot just for it to get broken in 5 seconds by Shadow. Now that we have the Chaos Emeralds, Eggman's chances of world domination are like 99.9% done. It's so over. Thanks for watching. Join me next time as we hit Ice Cap Zone, the best zone in Sonic 3. I will also talk about my inspirations for creating this Let's Play.